Do you feel though that it's been able to get a little bit easier because you do have such strong friends right now that are fighting with you, like Kai and Schilling, Romy?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it would definitely be way more. Um, it would be a lot harder to deal with if it was just me and I was like the only person, fighting at this level, and that was out there, and then it would be just like, oh, let everybody down. But the fact that there are other guys, and they're doing really well too, and sometimes we're winning, sometimes we're losing. It's definitely helped, ease the pressure of it. I've never felt like it was just me, or any of this was just on me at all, and the fact that there's other guys doing it definitely helps.
And with that, of course, there's Chaz,
Mm-hmm.
and years ago when you started this with, with Beecher
Uh-huh.
and the group that you guys had over at Master Toddy's, and with this whole group now in American Muay Thai, do you feel that it's just a special group that's unique to this moment,
Mm-hmm.
or do you think that this group is going to be able to influence the future of American Muay Thai to have strong fighters for years to come?
I both really. I mean, it's definitely this group. I think is very special, and each one of us has something unique and special to offer. And then this is the time. All of us kind of came together at the right time and the right moment, and it was the right people. For all this to kind of start happening, and there are other people coming up, and I see it at the kind of amateur shows, and the level's getting there, and the interest is getting there, and keeping people motivated to stay with the sport is very important, and that's kind of what why it hasn't grown so much over the years is because people haven't stuck with it. They've gotten to a certain point, and then they realize there was nowhere to go from there, so then they have to go to something else, the MMA or the boxing, or quitting, or just sticking with the sport as far as training goes. But no one ever took it to another level because there was really nowhere to go with it. Unless you moved overseas or something. And even then it wasn't helping it here. But now with the exposure it's getting, and the more people that are out there, fighting at the high level, and it's kind of worked its way down to now people have something to look at, that this guy ahead of them, and the next guy, and the next guy, and the next guy, and that's what you need. You got to have somebody to look at and to aspire to, or else, how do you know where you're going? You're just guessing. And that's what keeps you motivated. It's like when you have somebody better than you in the gym, they're the ones you're looking at. I want to be that good. And so you're constantly pushing yourself to get better and better. If you're the best pusher in your gym, it can be hard to stay motivated because you're like, what's the point? And even if you don't look at it that way, you're not thinking, I'm great and I don't have to be better. It's hard to stay motivated when you are the best person in your group, or surrounded by, there's no one in your face every day like, I'm not anywhere near as good as that guy. You know what I mean? So it's having more and more fighters that are like getting better and sticking with it is definitely gonna snowball into the younger guys, and hopefully continue to help the sport grow here in the States.
And with that, looking towards the future, there's talk of you fighting Liam Harrison on a USA versus UK bout.
Yeah.
What does the future hold for you?
Hopefully it holds a lot of big fights. I've always said I only want to fight the best, and there's been talk about me and Liam fighting for a few years now, and I definitely think that'd be a great fight. And there's a lot of good fights out there for me, and hopefully I can get over this hurdle of losing, and it just makes me better, as all the other losses have, and then it's just the time in between the loss and the next fight is just so hard to deal with. I mean, as soon as I start training, then I'm focused on the next fight, but it's this downtime in between is just like brutal, man. And it's when you only have time just to sit there and think about where you're at, and what could have been, and what you could have done, and you have all this time to focus on all those negative things, as opposed to my next fight and what I'm going to do differently, and change it like that. But I know I'm going to get over this, and it's going to be just like any other time. It's the next fight, and that's fight's gone, and I don't think this is going to slow me down at all. And it's definitely not slowing the sport down. All it did, it was a win-win, just like the last one was, but this one was a little harder to deal with, as I did get stopped and everything, but it's still going up. It's going up every year.
And just last, I think for a lot of novice fans, they don't always realize that the Thai fighters, for example, Sakadao, he's 24,
Yeah.
and he already has 100 fights under his belt. And in America, you don't have that ability to have that many fights compared to Thailand. Do you feel that that, as you said before, that the respect in this last year has gone up for American fighters in Muay Thai?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely gone up. I think there's a lot of people that are kind of looking at us thinking like we believe like we're on top now with everybody else, and like just because a few of us have done well, that all of a sudden America should be respected in the Muay Thai world, and that's not the case at all. It's getting there, and we've taken some really big steps in the last year or two. But in no way are we saying America is at the top with some of the other countries, like England or Australia or France or anyone. We're still at the bottom of the barrel, but we're gaining momentum. There are a few guys stepping up and fighting the top level guys and doing well and even beating some of them. That's a good thing, and it's good for the sport anywhere in the world that we're doing well. Anyone that's in the sport should be happy that it's growing in other parts of the world, because all that is doing is helping the sport as a whole. We shouldn't be competing each other in the sense that if they're doing good, that means we're doing bad. No, we should compete to help the whole thing grow, to help us grow, to help the sport grow. As opposed to making it into, oh, we're better than you, and it should never be that way. And I think sometimes it does get that way, and that's the thing that I think turns people off to sports like MMA and boxing, is it becomes this whole bickering and talking smack to each other, and it ceases to be about the actual sport and the art of it. And I definitely feel like that's something we should address now before it just turns into this whole stupid, just how boxing gets. It turns into, it becomes about the not the fight. It stops being about the fight. It starts being about, do these guys hate each other and how much smack can they talk, and that whole thing. And then most of the time the fight doesn't mean anything, or it just ceases to live up to the expectations because they build it up so much. And it's like the fight should speak for itself, I feel. The matchups should speak for itself. So that's why people should go and want to watch, because of who you put in there, not because of the fact that they hate each other, or this guy talked about this guy's mom or something. That it's just those silly little things that I don't think have any place in the sport particularly.
Well, Kevin, it's always great to sit down and talk with you. Are there any sponsors, anybody like that you like to thank?
K-Hero, always go to khero.org. They've got my shirts, my walkout t-shirts, and a lot of other great shirts. They give their proceeds to cancer research. So them and all the fans, friends, family, everybody.